what, you see, Ashok, Malik, the interesting aspect is many believe that the BJP finds the Congress, Karnataka was an exception, finds the Congress its perfect enemy. When Rahul Gandhi is pitted against Mr. Modi, we saw it in 2014-19, Kamdar versus Namdar was the narrative that they played. In 2019, out of the 185 seats of a direct contest between BJP and Congress, the Congress won less than 10 and the margin was huge. Do you believe the BJP would actually prefer a contest where the Congress is the fulcrum? Do they find it more difficult to fight the regional parties even in a general election?
So 2 points here. Number one, to go back to something Yogendra Yadav said, and I think he was astute, you will probably not have one-to-one contest in 400 or 500 seats, but you will have a greater index of opposition unity this time than 2019. In some cases, a bottom-up index of opposition unity, because people will choose the strongest anti-Modi vote if they don't, party if they don't like Modi.
Like they eliminated the JDS virtually in Karnataka.
Or eliminated the Congress in Bengal 2 years ago, right? And if you support Mr. Modi, you will back him completely. Okay? That's one. But there is one other element in a national election. There is a thin sliver of a national vote. It is not a huge vote in percentage terms, but it's a thin sliver, it's a pan-India vote, and this vote can only go to a national party, Congress or BJP. And it can make a difference between an indifferent performance for a national party or a very good performance. We saw this in 2009 for the Congress, 2014, 2019 more for the BJP. Here, I think it's right, as of today, a no contest between Mr. Modi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Still, despite Bharat Jodo Yatra, you don't think that has changed? In a national election, when it comes to leadership, you still think that Mr. Modi is substantially ahead. Yes. Tavleen Singh, you agree with that?
Because, you know, it's not just Rahul Gandhi, it's the family. You know, the Congress party has not moved an inch towards understanding what happened in 2014 and 2019. Now, you know, I'm no longer a Modi bhakt or anything like that, but if I have to choose between Modi and Rahul Gandhi, there's no contest as far as I'm concerned, because to have Sonia Gandhi back as Mother India and, you know, with her children, and, you know, we can't go backwards. So the Congress party...
But they took a back seat in Karnataka. Sonia Gandhi did just one rally.
Which is why they won in Karnataka. Which is why they won.
Okay, it's interesting because in the areas through which the Bharat Jodo Yatra actually went, the Congress did reasonably well, in fact very well. The areas where Prime Minister Amit Shah campaigned, the BJP didn't do well. So I just wonder whether something has changed. Yogendra Yadav, do you believe that Rahul Gandhi is in a better position in 2024 and the Congress than compared to 2019 to challenge Mr. Modi?
Isn't that very obvious, Rajdeep?
No, you're saying it's obvious, the other guests don't seem to believe so.
It cannot be anybody's case that... it cannot be anybody's case that Rahul Gandhi or the Congress national leadership alone won Karnataka. Of course, Karnataka was won because BJP had a terrible government. Of course, Congress had very strong local faces, and that was decisive. But the national leadership, I thought, did three things which were critical in Karnataka. One was the Bharat Jodo Yatra. As you pointed out, there is clear empirical evidence. The Yatra passed through 20 or 21 constituencies. Earlier, the BJP held 12 of these constituencies. Congress held only 5 of these out of these 2021, and now Congress holds 16 of these. I have seen it in terms of vote swings because I had some technical interest in it. It is absolutely clear that the Yatra influenced those constituencies, but more than those constituencies, the Yatra changed the overall mood. Second, Congress leadership ensured through Randeep Surjewala and other intermediaries that the disputes at the local level did not cross the boundaries as they did in many other states. And number 3, unlike many other states here, Rahul and Priyanka were very much on the ground. So these 3 things played a role. How can anyone dispute that?
Okay, it's very interesting. They didn't play a role in Gujarat, remember, and many believe that that's because the Congress had given up Gujarat. And therefore the Gandhis were not exposed in that election. That could be an argument, but I take some of the points you make, also empowering state leaders. But I want to turn to the issues. Leading up to 2024, there's talk that the next election, could it be a coalition of castes, social engineering versus Hindutva? And I want to link it also to another issue which resonated in Karnataka. Will the politics of freebies decide 2024? These are two questions I want to link, because Swapan Dasgupta, there's much talk now that the Congress is going to push for a caste census, or so is the opposition. They're talking of reservations based on caste. You've got 3 of the 4 Congress leaders who are OBCs. The Congress wants to create a new kind of social coalition. In Karnataka, it worked. Dalits, Muslims, backwards, and Adivasis voted for it, versus the Hindutva nationalism that Mr. Modi demonstrated in Pulwama and the BJP has always had with the Ram Mandir coming up in January. Do you see that as a battle line at all? Social engineering, Congress style, versus BJP's Hindutva social engineering?
Congress and many of the opposition parties are likely to, try this thing about, trying to fragment the electorate and make them possible, which in a national election is not going to make them thoroughly popular. It is my assessment. Like Ashok Malik, I believe that in the national elections there is an incremental surge in the performance of national parties, both the Congress and the BJP. The BJP does particularly well. There was a exit poll which was taken on the day of in Karnataka, which suggested that there would be a 6% rise in the BJP's
vote share.
Performance. So 6 or 8, I'm not quite sure. But it would give the BJP a comfortable majority in the 24 or so Lok Sabha seats in Karnataka.
Yes.
Now, the issue of Hindutva, which you play. Now, what is the role of Hindutva? This is, I think, needs a certain degree of elaboration. We saw a shrill sort of Hinduized drum beating, which took place in the particularly in the final week of the campaign. And this has been a pattern in all states. What is the reason for it? The reason for it is that is always used to motivate and bring out the already sympathetic BJP voters. It is to bring out the committed.
But it doesn't get you incremental voters. But it doesn't get you incremental voters, and in fact it consolidates the anti-BJP voters as well.
Will you listen, Rajdeep?
Yes, go ahead.
It gets you incremental voters when the other factors are working.
Right.
It doesn't get you incremental voters if those other factors are not working.
So it's Hindutva plus.
Here the governance issue was a liability as far as the BJP was concerned.
Right.
But at the same time, it was that Hindutva which helped them to retain their vote share at 36%. But they couldn't get from 36 to 38 or 40 because of the absence of other factors. So Hindutva plays a certain instrumentalist role as far as all this is concerned. We must take into account, realize it, what its importance in electoral politics is. What its importance in the larger ideological framework is another matter altogether. We are not discussing that. We are just discussing electoral politics. And in electoral politics, it has that limited role.
Okay,
but a very crucial one.